Alright, ladies and gentlemen, MrSotko here. Welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk about the Monero hard fork. It has gone through, and, well, the ASIC miners that were intended to target it have since failed and can no longer mine Monero. And also, a lot of botnets were shut down as well. So botnets can range from a lot of things, but basically, putting zombie computers and malware on people's computers, and then they mine Monero on your behalf. And each individual computer would not equal to much income, but when you have thousands or tens of thousands of them all mining for you, then well, works pretty well, I would imagine. Also, I feel a little sick, a little stuffy. You wouldn't believe how often you get sick when you have a baby, because they just love to get you sick. They're just like little vectors, and they love it. It's just what they live for. So anyway, let's read this article here. So users of anonymity-focused altcoin Monero continue to wait with bated breath after the cryptocurrency hard forked Friday, April 6th. In an attempt to protect the cryptocurrency against ASIC miners, the altcoin's developers successfully completed the transfer to version 7 of Monero. So they're calling it Crypto Night 7, V7. So creator Riccardo Spagni confirming the move in typically tongue-in-cheek style on social media. Monero did the right thing. So the contentious hard fork comes with the Monero community has gained several forks, some ostensibly aiming to preserve the ASIC-compatible chain, and others promising various other improvements and features. Among the alternative chains are Monero Original and Monero Classic. So there are a couple chains that some people sort of want to keep with Monero, so that these ASICs continue mining it, and so that these botnets can continue, and those would fork off to Monero Original or Classic or what have you. Nobody really knows for sure, but likely something else might come from this sooner or later here. The motivation behind the latest upgrade, meanwhile, lies with hardware manufacturer Bitmain. In March, the Chinese company announced a new product, the Antminer X3, which was specifically developed to mine Monero, fearing mass use of the kind of ASIC offered by Bitmain would make the network more centralized by forcing small-time miners using home PCs and other devices out. Spagni led a retaliation by pledging to do everything in his power to halt their proliferation. As of press time, sporadic reports of teething problems were all that was coming from the Monero subreddit, as users wait for the dust to settle on the fork. So let's check out the Monero subreddit. So we have a post here that MoneroHash.com went from 7.5 to 2.5 megahash, a 66% reduction. So some of these ASICs, again, all shut down. A lot of these ASICs still haven't made their way to some people yet, but some people do have them in other parts of the world where it was shipped much faster than the United States, and then it was also thought that Bitmain themselves were using these miners for quite some time, for several months, which increased the Monero difficulty quite a bit, like 3 times as much, if I'm not mistaken, maybe 4 times as much. I did do a video about it a week or two ago, and so it turns out to that it was likely to be true, considering that hash rate had to come from somewhere, and botnets was probably a unlikely candidate for all of that hash rate. So now that all of that is shut down, we're seeing pools all over the place, reducing hash rate massively. Now, you might think to yourself, oh, I should start mining Monero because it would be really profitable for me to do so. Well, not at the moment, because the difficulty of Monero takes something like 700 or 720 blocks before the difficulty actually adjusts to the current hash rate. So if you start mining now, you'll notice that you're pretty much getting the same profits. Profits may go up a little bit, but don't think of this as anything that you're going to be making bank off this, or like some kind of or you're going to get rid of the low profits of mining currently and you'll be able to go to Monero, because if that was the case, everybody would go to Monero anyway and just increase the difficulty once again. This was mostly just to get rid of ASICs, and honestly, botnets, it helped as well on a side thing. So the botnets and the ASICs are down, and the difficulty is not quite adjusted just yet, so you're still seeing the same profits, but once the difficulty goes down of the algorithm, you should see increased profits for a little while. But the problem with mining is, particularly the site like whattomine.com, is as soon as it shows the highest coin to mine, everybody just jumps on that, and then the difficulty of that coin goes up, and then it's no longer profitable. So continue to stick to what you are mining and what you mine best, whether that be Monero or EcoHash or whatever, Bulwark coin, whatever you like to mine. Just stick with that, and you'll probably just make the best profits just doing that, because switching around usually results in lower profits. This is the Reddit here, and it is just packed to the gills with fairly happy people, all talking about how the hash rate has pretty much been destroyed. Here's a weird forked post. Support XMR dropped from 50 mega hash to 17 instantly, and I guess some old botnets and ASIC miners just went away. And this guy says botnet owners will just upload in a new payload. So it'll take a while for the botnets to come back, and they'll probably end up infecting more people with their, their crappy malicious software sooner or later here. So here's the pool hash rate going along, bam! Right as soon as this hit, if you guys like my little bam in there, because that represents it pretty good. Whoa, all the way down because it stopped, and then everybody had to restart, and then it is nowhere near the same. So this is has a lot to do. All of this up here has a lot to do with ASICs, has a lot to do with botnets as well. But who knows? Bitcoin Reddit, nothing too crazy going on in the Bitcoin Reddit right now. There was a nice article about Nick Szabo here, and I do want to talk to you guys about that. So it was kind of interesting, and somebody tweeted it. So I was reading the article on it, and then tweeted that Nick Szabo essentially made Bitcoin in 1995. And what he wrote was sort of a glossary of what a cryptocurrency could be, and it's pretty much exactly Bitcoin. So let me show you just a few things here. Smart contract sets promises, including protocols within the parties perform on other promises. This is 1995 when the internet, well, sure, it existed, but most of you probably recognize AOL and You've Got Mail when in 1995. I don't even know if AOL had that tone in 1995, but either way, you likely had 56K, and there was definitely not going to be any kind of cryptocurrency at that time. Could have been, I suppose, but 56K, boy, that'd be a lot of information going across that network. So Alice and Bob starts to go into that, and so it talks about a secret key, which we now know as a private key. Same thing. Uses a key shared between agents to communicate with confidentiality and authentication. And the public key uses two keys, a private key and the public key. So I guess he kind of does differentiate the public key a little bit there. But the public key is used to encrypt objects and to verify digital signatures, or in other words, nowadays to send and receive crypto. So, when you receive crypto from somebody, you see an address that you sent it from. That was their public key, which changes often. You don't need to change your public key, but it is a good thing because eventually, you send it to 15 people, they send it to more people, and eventually you can trace that all back to you. If privacy is your thing, that's not a good thing. So the private key is used to decrypt and sign objects. It is typically kept secret by one or more key holders. Allows key distribution without exposing the key. So secret sharing, digital signatures, zero knowledge, interactive proof. So it really talks about all that. And I had the article up, but I must have lost it. But pretty interesting. And I also had a Wikipedia up for Nick Szabo, and it was kind of interesting. It was kind of a good read. He's just a cryptographer, and been around for a long time, obviously. And on his Wikipedia, there was some conspiracy that some people think that he was Satoshi Nakamoto. I know there's like, I think we're up to like 3 or 4 people now that are supposedly Satoshi Nakamoto, and it is really interesting to think, who is Satoshi Nakamoto? Who did create Bitcoin? We may never know. Could have been this guy. Could have been a lot of people. But anyway, so the Soros Fund Management plans to launch cryptocurrency trading. So George Soros, the octarian bullfrog, and that nobody likes. So U.S. funds invest. Soros Fund Management currently operates about $26 billion in assets. Will reportedly be investing in cryptocurrencies, despite the fact that the head of the fund, George Soros, earlier claimed that crypto is a bubble. According to Bloomberg, citing people familiar with the matter, Adam Fisher, who is responsible for global macroeconomic investing at Soros Fund Management, has already received internal approval for cryptocurrency operations, but hasn't started just yet. So there's another article, too, that has rumored him, and this is non-cartoon bullfrog, billionaire octogenarian. Oh, I messed up there. This was just octarian, but octogenarian. George Soros is reportedly taking an interest in cryptocurrency trading. If you guys don't know what that means, it just means somebody who's over 80. If true, the move would be a remarkable turnaround for the business magnate, who's previously been scathing of Bitcoin, calling it a bubble and a tool of dictators. So 87-year-old George Soros' best years may be behind him, but the tycoon still knows an opportunity for profit when he sees it. Crypto assets have traditionally been met with skepticism by senior investment figures such as George Soros, Warren Buffett, whose investment prowess is streets ahead of their tech knowledge. Fortunately, an innate understanding of blockchain technology is not required to participate in the crypto markets, simply the ability to calculate risk and reward. Bloomberg reports that George Soros is now pondering an entry into the cryptocurrency space. So the Soros Management Fund, I wouldn't be surprised 10 years from now we like it all leaks on like conspiratorial YouTube channels that the Soros Fund Management like crashed Bitcoin just so that they could get into it. They're like, oh, 20K, that's too much. I don't want to get in now. Send some people out and crash it. Just crash it down to like 5K or something. Then we'll get in from there and we'll ride it on up. I wouldn't be surprised. I have no proof of that, but again, like the whole world, nothing shocks me in this world anymore. It's rare to shock me. Like, it has to be pretty extreme anymore. So Soros Fund Management, his family investment firm, has $26 billion in assets and is believed to have earmarked some of the capital for crypto. Bloomberg claims that Adam Fisher, an investor in Soros Fund Management, has received the go-ahead to trade virtual currencies. Should this prove to be the case, it would make some sense for Soros to enter now that markets have cooled off, having dropped threefold from their December peak. So, Bitcoin's recent history is littered with public figures who've written cryptocurrency off, only to later eat their words and stake a claim. Jamie Dimon's stance on Bitcoin has softened considerably, and it appears that George Soros may have seen the light. Currently, Bitcoin is used mostly for tax evasion for the rulers and dictatorships to build a nest egg abroad, he remarked in as recently as January. Even if George Soros retains this view, it doesn't preclude him from investing in crypto for his own purposes, namely profit. The cryptocurrency markets are down 41% since Soros last expressed his thoughts on Bitcoin. If his entry is confirmed, it's unlikely to provide any sort of short-term boost to the market. It adds further weight, though, to the notion that in the mid to long-term investors are extremely bullish about Bitcoin. George Soros is a controversial figure for a number of reasons. Yeah, you could say that, but when it comes to investments, he's rarely wrong. I also agree with that, though. Help wanted in Japan. Needs crypto engineers. Doesn't the whole world, though? So the $500 million CoinCheck exchange hack is still working its way through the ecosystem, carrying implications of all sorts. Rarely mentioned is how, at least in part, the exchange's problems were due to a lack of crypto engineers in Japan. A dearth of engineering know-how is a perfect recipe for security gaps to be exploited. So shortly after the hack was discovered, CoinCheck's Koichiro Wada explained, "What a perfect name for CoinCheck, Koichiro. We were aware we didn't have enough people working on internal checks management and system risk. We strived to expand using headhunters and agencies, but ended up in this situation. It was a spectacular mess, and in many ways the industry continues to deal with its ramifications, mergers, class action lawsuits, calls for more than tougher regulation, dramatic runs on the exchange as users attempt to withdraw that remains. And all that's happening only 4 months after the country's financial services agency gave the exchange formal approval. So Japan needs crypto engineers, and so do I. I need crypto engineers. Everybody wants Sotko coin. We need to make Sotko coin, and we need to make it quick. What its purpose is? Does it need a purpose? I didn't realize it had to make a purpose. Maybe that should be like, that should be the logo. You go to SotkoCoin.com, and it says Sotko coin, hauling ass, getting paid. Does it need a purpose? I didn't realize it needed a purpose. That's the entire logo. I was not aware that it needed a purpose. Whoops. Oh well, let's just go through with it anyway. Sotko coin. Come on, crypto engineers, get at me. So nothing left on Bitcoin.com there. Not too much good news. Nothing good. So CoinMarketCap, nothing too crazy happening. Interestingly enough, in the top 100 coins, Electroneum is The winner of the day, interestingly, is because Electronium has been real bad lately. Next 100, I like to do this sometimes. Find the winner and the loser of the day in the different categories here. The winner at rank 172 is Sonam. I don't know what that stands for. And the loser is Mithril. Too bad. Let's see what we got in 200. Let's see, the winner is Electra at 30%. Very nice. And the loser is Mobius. Oh, what a fun game. But we're not going to play this all day because there's way too many coins to do this. So, let's see. The winner of the day is Tau at 322. And the loser is XPS. Check the next 100 and we'll be done with it. Panda Coin. It's up 35.24%. Nobody can resist Panda Coin. And its price is so low. And so is its market cap, kind of. But its price is so low, you could buy like 1 million of these. And that makes sense, because there are 32 billion in supply. And they're only... What a sweet deal. Look how low they are. It's, let's check. Let's look at Panda Coin here. Panda Coin is an interesting... and it's going way downhill, unfortunately. So the, looks like the pump already occurred. Yep, there goes the pump. Oh, pump and dump. And that's 9 out of 10 coins, I promise. So, if we can even open... Oh, let's not do open trading. Let's do... Bulwark coin is not too bad. Not really too much of a pump coin. Let's just check a weird one here. Bullberry! Let's check that pump and dump. Every time. So, it's pretty easy to see pump and dump. So that's why new coins, you mostly want to stay away from unless you're right on it. As soon as that pump occurs, you can sell it, but... it's not good. So, in Rise is the loser of the day at 440. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and as usual, I will see you guys next time.